Jimbo's Garage.
Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome back to Jimbo's Garage. Well, I got something here that's been bugging me for a long time, and I just haven't quite figured out what to do. But what I've got here is I've got my oil can for my drill press, and it just kind of sits around, and I don't really have a place for it. No matter where I seem to put it, it's just not in the way, and it's making a mess, unorganized, bugging me. So what I thought I would do is make something that this oil can sit in, like about here, so it gets it off my workbench. I have a place to put it, and you know, easy accessible. So I was milling around my shop, and I was hoping for a piece of tubing, some regular metal tubing. I've got a lot of scrap around the shop right here. I hang on to everything just in case I might use it for something. And I couldn't find anything metal, but what I did find was some aluminum here. And this piece of aluminum is like the perfect size for this oil can right here. So with this, I found this perfect aluminum disc. Looks to be about 1/4 inch in diameter, and that fits perfectly on this. So at one point in time, I must have used this with this for some other reason, but I've got these two pieces, and it's going to be absolutely perfect. I'm going to TIG weld this bottom to this all the way around. I'm going to cut this tube off at about 2.5 inches, and that 2.5 inches, if it was cut off here, well, if you sit up here, something like that, and this oil can be fit in there. And then I got this piece of, it looks to be 3/8 by 2 inch bar stock aluminum. And what I'm going to do is mount it right here. I'm going to drill and tap it right here, and then cut it off someplace, I don't know, down here, and then use the remains to cut a 45-degree little ledge that's going to stick out this way, and that's where this pipe is going to sit on. And hopefully when it's all done, it'll be there, an oil can will be there, and it'll be out of the way, and nice and organized. There's one thing is I'm not real checked out on TIG welding aluminum, especially a thick plate like this, but there's no other way to do it than to just do it. So let's do it. Okay, so I got all my pieces cut out here. We got our 2.25 inch round aluminum tube, and of course the absolute perfect ring that fits over this. That's amazing. I don't know, that'll never happen to me again. But I don't know, obviously this was designed for this at one point in time, but anyways, there it is, that'll work out. And this is our support that we're going to use. We're going to drill and tap this into the side of the drill press. Of course, it's not going to hurt my drill press. I only paid $99 for it about 10 years ago, so I'm sure a couple holes in there isn't going to jeopardize that drill press at all. And then I've got this piece right here. This is the angle of the fend angle. I got a weird angle here. Got to cut this off here, and I've marked this radius right here. And that's kind of where this thing is going to sit, right on there. And then one of these days I'm going to get me a bandsaw, and that's going to be coming pretty soon, because I'm having to cut this with my jigsaw, and you know, it'd be so much nicer to be able to have a bandsaw to just run this stuff through it, nice and clean cuts. But anyways, that'll happen soon enough. All right, so let's get this thing cut out and break out the TIG welder and see what kind of a mess we can make. Alright, so this isn't going to work out. We're going to try our alternative method here. Need a flap disc here. I'm sure that I can round that off nicely, at least good enough, because after all, I'm sure once I TIG weld it, there's going to be a lot of grinding going on. So I am not the best TIG welder there is, but anyway. side cleaned up. Okay, so I brought this piece of aluminum over here to the Yoast, and I'm telling you what, this vise right here has really been amazing for me. I've only had this thing for maybe a month now, but every possible function on this thing is usable, and I gotta say I've never had anything like it. So we're gonna demonstrate one of my favorite uses that I've used a lot of this thing on for this pipe right here, which is gonna be pretty awesome. We're just gonna flip this thing around to the top up here and crank it open. Now this thing has adjustable pipe clamp jaws right here, which are amazing. You put anything in there and the slightest little pressure closing this thing up and they're locked in there for good. But we're not going to be using these here today. We're going to be using this other function here on the top, which is really cool. I've already used it a couple of times. And this thing here, I'm just going to drop this thing in there like that. And it holds it really nice into position. And we're going to get the grinder, flap disc here, and we're just going to clean up these edges. And do that on both sides. Anyways, pretty smooth. Anyways, there it is. There's that. That's ready. That's ready. We'll just clean this up a little bit. All right, just like that. We got all 4 pieces necessary. So the only thing left to do here now, take it over to the TIG welder and try my luck. All right, let's do it. Yeah, well, I almost blew that. Well, before we start trying to weld everything together, I think I'm getting a little anxious with the TIG welding. I thought I'd get over here and get this thing marked where the holes need to go and actually get the holes drilled and get it tapped to be sure that this thing fits into position here. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. And I don't know if you can tell, I got a couple of, I don't know, there's probably a couple little pins here that help hold this head onto this shaft. I'm going to go ahead and I've marked this right over here, letting me know that the holes that I'm going to drill into this plate, I don't want it to be any higher than this. It's going to start lower. So I want this thing to go right about here, and I'll get it all plumbed up, but for now, you know, that's got to be looking pretty close to good on the shaft for now. So I'm going to put me a hoe, get it, a hoe, right about there, and put another one right about there. And we'll drill and tap this one out, then I'll get this thing nice and plumb, and then we'll make a mark on the other one and be sure that this is nice and plumb. So when we get that all done, we know it's going to fit, then we'll take it off and get everything welded together. Let's do it. And there we go. All right, well, now the next step is to try to get this thing lined up where it needs to be. And I think again, I'm kind of liking that right there. But before we do that, I got my DeWalt drill right here, and I've got a number 7. I've looked up online, and the number 7 drill bit seems to be the one you want to use for the 1/4 inch tap is what we're going to be using. So that's what I got in here, and I'm just going to get a mark on here right now, the first one, and we'll get the first one drilled out. Well, there it is. So let's drill this out and tap it and just see how it works before we get into the next one. Well, that went in there surprisingly easy. That's leading me to believe that this is not a very thick tube right there. All right. Well, let's see if we can get this thing started. little 1/4 inch bolt here. Whoa, look at that. That pretty much just hand screws its way right on in. I like it. All right. Well, with that said, let's just see what we got here. I've got no way of really measuring this thing. I guess I do. I'm gonna drop this thing down a ways. I just want to see if the shaft is plumb, and it is almost plumb. Yep, pretty plumb. Okay, and that would be right there. That looks like it's going to work. Let's mark it. Drill it. Not only mark it, but drill it. All right, let's take this thing out. Now let me know that's pretty cool. All right, let's tap this one out. Perfect. All right, we got our holes drilled. We got our holes drilled and tapped here. Now we'll take things over to the welder and see what kind of a mess we can make. Okay, we're getting closer. Got everything clamped down into place right here. I think I got everything where I need to be. Put this block on here. Hold that into position. Everything appears to be flush. Well, all right. Let's do it. Let's crank up the old Everlast Power TIG 210 EXT. Crack open the argon. Plug the machine in. That'd probably help. I've done a little research, and they're saying for something like this, I should set the amp somewhere around 150. That's workable. If I don't have to use all of it, I don't have to. It's being controlled by the foot pedal. All right, so let's just move forward. We are going to be in the AC mode, and we're working off of the foot pedal. And we're going to set balance at about 40. And the frequency somewhere around 75, 77. And the downslope, you don't need much there. End amps are sitting at 5. Post flow, I'm going to crank that post flow up to about 9. Free flow, put that at about 5. Start amps, because we're sitting at a 1/4 inch or 3/8 plate, whatever we're doing here, I have to start amps at about 20, kind of give it a good little jolt to get the thing rolling. All right, so I think we're set. Let's try to give this thing the best of luck here. I'm going to put a couple tacks on this thing. You know, heating, in order to get this aluminum going, especially this thick a plate right here, you know, it's ideal to have this thing preheated or have it hot in some way, shape, or form. Well, I'm not in that position to do that, and so that's why it might get off to a rocky start. But, you know, we're going to go ahead and do the best we can to get this thing tacked up some way, shape, or form. And when this thing is tacked up, hopefully I can heat this up by just using the torch, and we will get moving along on this thing. So I'm going to go ahead and get this thing tacked if I can, and then I'm going to go ahead and weld this out, and then flip it around the other side and weld it out while it's nice and hot. And so let's get doing it. All right, well, prettiest thing, but successful. I noticed as soon as I started tacking that it seemed to get hot enough and starting to flow, so I just went with it. So you know what? For the first little move right here, I'm okay with it. All right, sweet. Okay. Not the prettiest thing, but it's welded. All right. All right, what's next here? We have this. Now that'll be fun. All right. We're gonna get this out of the way for the moment. And we're gonna try to do something with this. Maybe I should just do it like that. Well, we successfully made it around there. And I gotta say, it's not too bad. So, what we have left to do now, and that is that, put this on that. But before we do that, I think I'm going to go ahead and grind this thing down and make it nice and smooth, so we've got some good smooth contacts on here. And besides that, those welds aren't that pretty anyway, but hey, I'm happy with it. Well, there we go. Got both pieces kind of polished up a little bit and ground down. And last thing to do is get this little thing welded on here. So, let's do it. All right, I think we're ready to go. You know, I'm not, I don't claim to be the big welder, but you know, hey, I do my fair share of projects around here, and hey, they all turn out pretty good. I gotta say, I don't have a lot of experience with TIG welding. I did when I was younger. I worked as a welder when I was younger, did a little bit of TIG welding there, but other than just farting around inside the shop here over the last year, this is what we got. So let's make it happen. Well, not pretty, but nothing a grinder can't fix up. Let's do it. All right, well, I really don't know why I couldn't get that thing to TIG weld as smoothly as I did the others. I don't know, maybe it's just the lack of ability that I have in that field. But anyways, hey, we got some grinding to do here. Again, it's not asked to be pretty. The welds are definitely going to hold, and but hey, I like to make it as nice as I can. So let's do it. All right, there it is. Kind of gnarly, but smooth. Weird angles everywhere. Let's take it over there to the drill press and get it installed. Call it a project. All right, well, here we are. Still a little warm. So let's see you put this thing up in here. See if I can get the first one started before I burn my hands off. This thing's still a little hot. Oh, I like what I see so far. Look at this thing, just screws right in real nice. I hope this hole lines up. Oh yeah, check that out. Yeah, might need a little assistance here. Maybe I didn't run the tap all the way through. Don't know. But, well, there it is. Must have just been a burr. Okay. All right, let's tighten these things up. Looks nice and plumb. And there you go. Earl can holder for the drill press. Sweet. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed watching this video. I'm not the greatest TIG welder, but it was fun trying. And after all, it didn't turn out too bad. And I think that this thing is going to be fully functional. So, there you go. Hope you enjoyed this video. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to rate, comment, and subscribe for more.
See you next time on Jimbo's Garage.